Hi, I'm Tom Spellman with Perssons Nursery. Today we're on the road looking for examples of the edible ornamental landscape. I'm here in Pasadena, California at Perssons Nursery, and we're going to let them explain to us what they've done as far as their edible ornamental gardening.
Hi, I'm Gary Butters, manager of Perssons Nursery in the lovely city of Pasadena. We wanted to give you a view of our concept of our harvest garden, which we developed actually about a year ago, put it in process to be constructed this year. And with the impending economy and other issues, we felt that we would like to come up with our own form of stimulus package. We decided to make this harvest garden out of local, affordable materials. We used a pressure-treated lumber that is safe to use as a planter. We did some investigation on it, and we found that the copper azole that they used to keep the wood from rotting, it would not transfer through the roots, but so we used this so it would last a long time. We also decided to make our arbors here, which holds our grapevines. We made the arbors out of a 1/2-inch rebar, and we used a hardware mesh that they pretty much use to make flatwork and concrete. Nice 6x6 open space here, so you have a lot of space to do anything from grapes to vining plants or vegetables. It doesn't have to be just grapes, it can be anything. A lot of customers ask us, what's underneath these? And we say, well, it just goes straight down to the ground. So we were able to utilize these beds to plant things like grapes and fruit trees, which are going to have a much deeper root system, but yet we can still plant around the area of them. The concept of our design came out from some aesthetics and design presentations on three-dimensionalizing an area. Not only with access from all angles, from both sides, we decided to put really nice wide pathways in. We decided to make some built-in benches so you could sit in an area. We liked to present it so that not only is it visual from every angle, so no matter where our customers are, from whatever angle, it will look pleasing. I think when you look at the concept of the design and the contrasting foliages, things like the purple nature of the eggplants with their purple blossoms contrast well with the gray of the artichoke, as well as the flowers on the chives. Also the different textures. You have fine textures of the parsley plants against the large foliage of the squash. And in the center section here, we decided to focus all on herbs so that you'd have different things like thymes, sages, oreganos, sweet bay leaves, parsleys, Santolinas, which have a great fragrance, and maybe center it with a nice big fruit tree here of a weeping Santa Rosa plum. And as well, because it's weeping, it's going to bring the fruit right down here where we can pick it real easily. And in our thought process of using fruit trees inside the garden area, we used dwarfs, so that way they would still be within reaching range, you know, as well as being able to come in and thin out your fruit like you should on a tree, whereas if you had a large tree, you'd have to be up in a ladder doing this. And it's very important to thin out your fruit so that you can get a larger quantity, or larger quality rather than a larger quantity. You're going to get so many pounds of fruit out of a tree. You're either going to get 30 pounds of really nice fruit or 30 pounds of a lot of little fruit. So it's good to take and thin out about every 4 to 6 inches across the tree. Another way to save space, we've staked up our vine-type tomatoes like they're actually supposed to be, where you can have the larger trunk go all the way up the stake, cutting off your laterals, which are not going to produce you the best fruit anyway, and have space saving, whereas you usually use cages or baskets, and really does not promote this vine type growth like these poles do. So that also saved us a lot of space. We were able to centralize the posts so that we could still plant around. There's plenty of space here to pretty much get anything and everything you possibly can in the garden area. We've mixed in things like strawberries next to the grapes so they can trail over the edges, and that's the other thing about this. Anything that trails over, you've got plenty of space for squash plants or cucumber plants to trail over the edges, and the vegetables will be hanging off the sides. So even though it's not a flat space, it's really been a benefit to have this raised up. We do not use any insecticides or pesticides here. We try to promote things like the ladybugs. We have a lot of customers that come in and say, see, we have some ladybugs right here, that say, did you guys go and buy some ladybugs and put them in the garden? And we said, no, they're just coming out here naturally. So we allow them to do most of our work as far as controlling the insects. We do pruning and a few washing with our hose once in a while if some aphids get on something, but pretty much it's maintaining itself as nature would intend it to be. Just talking about our soil and our mixes, we wanted to start out by filling this with a top grade riverbed sill topsoil mixed with 50% of a possibly, or best case scenario, redwood based compost that would last longer in the soil. But that is key here. Just not any dirt will do. We want to put this premium dirt as possible. We want this to last for many, many years. And then we'll continue to amend that with our recipe each season. In our design concept, we wanted to, in the design of this, to make it a certain height, so we went 2 feet tall. We used double 2x12 plank lumber. We made it so that we would have an over half reach, so we were able to come in here and reach from both sides, but we could go further than we would have to for ease of maintenance, ease of planting, ease of care. Another thing about our recipe that I'd like to point out is we use a lot of organic material in our recipe. We use cottonseed meal for nitrogen, bone meal for phosphorus. We used chicken manure, earthworm castings. We used Dr. Earth fertilizer, which has the inoculant and the mycorrhizae. And it was designed so that once you did all that initial conditioning of the soil with those elements, that would feed for the basic season. You wouldn't have to supplemental feed it during the season every few weeks, and so it would generate its own nutrients. And if you use this recipe each and every season before the season, you will not have to feed throughout. All you have to worry about is how to water, which is a big key, watching out for pests and insects and what to do about them, as well as harvest your food.